Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 49 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. We're one away from the big 5-0, and in this chapter I'm going to make some changes to my sharpening grinder that are important to me. So stay tuned. Well, as I stated in the introduction, we got a rainy Canada Day going here, and perfect day to be in the shop playing with a project that I've been accumulating pieces here for a few months now. So because of the turning classes that I've been hosting here for the Hub City Turners, we usually encourage people to bring their own sharpening system out, but often they may not have one. And when I set up my sharpening system back in the early 2000s, I basically followed one-way's guidelines, and I set up with a high-speed grinder, and I went with appropriate one-way wheels, and I thought I was state-of-the-art. But that has all changed a lot. Very few people are comfortable with sharpening on high speed. I still like it because I'm used to it. But with classes and a lot of people that I don't really know coming into the shop now, I thought, well, maybe it's time that I drink the Kool-Aid and get on board with the slower speed grinders and a CBN wheel. So what I did is I purchased this 3/4 horse. I wish it was a 1 horse, but it's not. Variable speed grinder. So that allows me to crank it up when I want to sharpen, and when we have students in the shop, they can dial it down and do whatever speed they want. And I picked up a Lee Valley CBN wheel. This is 180 grit, and I think according to all the turners that I turn with and the instructors of the Hub City classes that come out here, this is probably your go-to wheel. Most of them would have an 80 grit and a 180, but for shaping tools, I'm just going to use this is one of the wheels that came with the grinder that I'm quite impressed with, so I think I'm just going to use that for shaping. And but what today's video is going to focus on, I'll talk a little bit more about sharpening theory at some point in the future, but today I've got a problem here that I need to fix. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera and carry it and get you a little closer to the action here. So bear with me, we're going to do that. And we're back. Well, there's my Pro Point 3/4 horse grinder with variable speed. This is, surprise, surprise, a Princess Auto purchase of mine. The price was quite reasonable, and the nice thing about Princess Auto is if you miss something when it was on sale, I think it's 60 days after the sale. If you go in, take your flyer in and say, hey, I missed this, can I get it for sale price? They'll do it. Now, I had missed it by more. Maybe it's a month. I had missed it by more anyway, and some nice salespeople there. One of the managers, I believe, just said, yeah, go ahead, we'll give it to you for sale price. So I appreciated that. I would prefer a 1 horse, like I said, but I'm going to try this. The CBN wheel is from Lee Valley, as I said, and it's 1.5 inches wide and a 180 grit wheel. Now, what I'm going to focus on in today's video is I have a little bit of a concern about a lot of the CBN wheels I see set up on grinders. There's absolutely no guarding on them. And I'm very much programmed from my school days that if the tool comes with a guard, you don't want to really remove it. So I'm going to make a guard that fits on here. So the way this works, it's actually quite nicely done. On the inside of the cover, there's a bit of a ledge, and I don't know if you can see it, but a piece of sheet metal will actually kind of fit in there. And on this side, This is, I think, 16 gauge. It's about a 16th. What did I say? 16 gauge. Yeah, it's 0.063, I think, in decimal. So I'm going to take and grind the tack welds out of here, take this piece off, and remake that piece out of this piece of 16 gauge here. And I'm going to tack weld it all back on in here, and that way it'll sit out and I'll be able to have original guards on my grinder. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, like I say, I'm still getting used to shooting a YouTube video here, and I don't know what it is, but it just seems like I've got 50 people in the shop watching me when I make a cut. So I was going to show you me cutting this whole thing, and the first one didn't work so well. The camera was running, I was nervous, and I wasn't taking the time to correct like I should. Okay, but I paid $6 for the whole piece, so I'm not that worried about it. So I ended up turning the camera off, calming down, and making an acceptable cut. This isn't perfect, but I can fine-tune this now. It's definitely good enough. The one thing I didn't get to show you, though, was how this shear actually cuts. And I'm just going to take this little piece of 16 gauge here, and I'm just going to cut, I don't know, about an inch, inch and a half off of it. And I have no lines or anything, nothing to guide me for square, but a little longer handle on this thing may really be helpful. But what I like about it is the quality of the cut. Like, I couldn't cut like that with a tin snip. I don't know if I'd want to do this with a tin snip. It might be possible to cut it, but this is so much easier. So how would I have cut this without this? Well, I probably would have put a cutting wheel on one of my angle grinders. That would work good. Freehand it. You could do it nice and straight like that as well. That's probably what I would do. If it was just hand tools, boy, that's a heck of a hacksaw cut. And I wouldn't be up to it. But anyway, I have my piece here ready to go. The one thing I didn't show, well, now that you've seen a little bit of cutting, we need to start shaping and forming this steel into the circumference. I don't know if I'm going to do any grinding just yet. I'm thinking that if I put that cut edge to the inside, it's going to get tack welded on. It's pretty good. It's actually really quite good. And to have it perfect in here isn't necessary. I don't think anyway. But we're going to straighten it a little bit. And I just have a little piece of I-beam here that I use. And I'm sure that sounds good on video. So then what I want to do is I want to make it go to this shape. So I'm just going to start putting a bit of a bend in it. Okay, we've got a little bit of a ways to go yet. Maybe, nice thing about 16 gauge, you can form it by hand quite nicely. That's actually pretty good already. Actually, coming really nicely. See, if I put that inside like it's going to need to go, boy, a little bit of pressure outside, like not bending it quite as far. Oh, that's going to be perfect. And I wasn't even nervous on camera, my goodness. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. But now I need to grind this piece off. Anyway, here we go. We're going to grind. Maybe a little bit of back and forth. It's coming. There we go. Also, it's got three slots for air. I don't think I'm going to do the slots. I think I'm just going to drill some holes. I'm not sure how important that is. Okay, and we won't get the fancy arrow pushed in there. That's not going to happen. I guess I could draw it on, but I don't know if that's necessary. Let's see what we ended up with. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's going to work perfectly. Okay, where did my fancy piece go? And it was going to go in like this. That's going to be perfect. I think what I'm going to do. Okay, well, I've been doing a little bit of welding off camera, and it's turning out quite nicely, I think. I got the bend in. I tried to clamp it. I ended up just pre-bending it, pushing it in, and tacking it on. I've got one left here to do, and I thought I'd just show you that. Little bit of welding action in this video. So I'm just going to move you in really close, and we're going to just quickly tack this in. So, okay, what I want to do is I want to push down on this like that. I can see where I need it. And I'm just going to take the gun. And the paint likes to burn. Should have maybe ground a little bit more paint off before I did this. Oh, and I forgot to change. Well, I did a few things off camera, and one of the things I did is I just put it together, and I'm really happy with this. I think this is going to work great. The only thing I need to do is trim this yet, but I wanted to wait with that until I had the other side on so I could see what was happening. And then I think from a welding perspective, this penetration is good, but it's damaged the paint on it, so I'm going to take a flap disc and just scuff it up. And I also bought, oops, stay there. Okay, I also bought new fasteners for it with the right fastener, the right thread. See, these are the originals, and they're just too short. So with this, I can use all the factory fittings. Because for me, I like to make sure that this looks like that's the way it came from China. So hopefully this, I will do a good enough job that it'll do that. But anyway, I have bolts for it too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. I have a zip disc in my angle grinder, and I'm just going to use this to kind of hold it. It wants to roll. I'm going to take a square and see if I can cut this off. This might be a bit in the way. Turn that down. Okay, that'll do. All right, and remember, I am wearing safety glasses all the time here, so I'm not going to have to reach for those. And yeah, unhook everything, and away we go. There we go. That 16 gauge cuts really nicely. So okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take flap disc. So I'm just going to touch it up a little bit, and then we're going to put a coat of paint on. Okay, well that's working out good. And of course I changed my mind and decided to go to this line here. So it's going to take a little longer to grind than I had planned. So I don't think I'm going to show you all of that. We're going to skip out of here, and I'll come back when I'm ready to shoot some paint on it. And I moved outside to do some painting. It's a little windy. I hope the microphone picks this up. And with my new system here, hopefully it works. I'm going to spray the inside first. All I did to clean this is I just sprayed it good with brake cleaner. I had a paper towel here, and it seems to have blown away. One of the hazards of shooting video outside. Just going to wipe it off just a little bit, make sure there's nothing on it. I didn't grind the inside at all. I don't think it's necessary. Now, the one thing that may become a little bit of an issue yet is if all of a sudden there's a crown of weld that's touching the side of the wheel. I'll deal with that when the time comes. Okay, so I'm going to put my rag where it won't fly away, hopefully. Okay, and I'm just going to lay it flat like this, and I'm going to spray it. There we go. Well, it was a beautiful afternoon and great for spraying paint outside. Oh, I put this on already. I had started, oh here, let's use this one. I was very pleased with the finish that went on here. Now, so yeah, I have a little bit of a confession to make here. I started putting this on. In fact, I thought I was shooting video, and it turned out I wasn't. And I got into this, and I had done a test fit before. And now when I got to that part of the video, the wheel rubbed against the back housing. Now, it's funny I didn't notice it before, but maybe I didn't have everything tight the way it would be when it's running. So that may be. There's just a bit of a drag in this area. The wheel was touching the guard. So, okay, got out my trusty rubber mallet and gave it a few taps. Try to maybe push the whole thing over a little bit. That was ineffective. So what I ended up doing is, oh, that's in the other video that I don't have. In order to space the wheel out enough, I have two washers like this. They're not quite an eighth thick, but I found that really two isn't quite enough. So the other problem with using these washers as a wheel backer is they can lead to a little bit of run out. And it's a matter of shifting them in the right position to kind of hit that sweet spot to make sure the wheel doesn't have run out. So I knew I needed a little bit more out. I wanted to shim the wheel out a little bit. I thought these wheels that came with the grinder were thicker, or pardon me, thinner than this. Well, they are just a shade, but to look at them, they look the same. So I put one of these there in the back, and then two washers on top of it, like I guess I turned it around because I didn't want this interfering. Although on this wheel it wouldn't have. And that gives me that extra space. So now I'm going to tighten it up. I haven't done that yet, but I'm assuming now that my clearance issues will be solved. But I am going to pull this Lee Valley wheel off because the quality of this CBN wheel really impresses me. And when I look at the quality of these bushings that this wheel rides on, you know, the machining's perfect in my mind. They look really well done. They fit perfectly. Plus there's a little rubber O-ring on there on both sides to make sure that everything's centered, and maybe to isolate vibration, I'm not sure. But it looks cool and it makes everything fit really well. So there's my big spacer with my two smaller spacers. We're going to see how that works. And then this goes on like that. And then the wheel. Now, I'm not sure. There's no markings on this wheel. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me, are CBN wheels directional? I haven't seen anything on it, and I just thought of looking for, there's abrasives on both sides, so that doesn't tell me which side of the wheel needs to be out or anything. So I think it's just a matter of putting it on. So I'm going to do that. If they are directional, or if you know something about this, please put it in the comments so that I can learn as well. Okay? All right, let's throw this guy on here. Boy, this thing is heavy. I think, well, first of all, I like dealing with Lee Valley. So I like buying their stuff because everything I've ever bought from them has been really good quality. So, but I wish they had a 1-inch wheel option, because I think with a 1-inch wheel on a 3/4 inch grinder would be a better fit. Just my thoughts. I think the weight of this, and this thing is heavy, but if you had a 1/2 inch less wheel, and I'm used to grinding on 1-inch all the time anyway, it wouldn't have been a pain for me. And you can get 1-inch wheels, but hey, I had a Lee Valley gift card, so. But no, it's well made. I have no questions about the quality of this wheel, because I've always found their products to be very reputable. So the one thing that does concern me though a little bit, even though I am a staunch Princess Auto fan, I worry more about the grinder. So I'll have to keep you guys informed about how this grinder actually works in the long run. There, I think that actually is really good. I bought these bolts at a company in Saskatoon called Bolt Supply. It's kind of funny. They have a minimum $5 charge. So the last couple times I've been in there, of course, it's for 5 bolts or whatever, and of course they're never $5. So, but the other alternative is to order these on Amazon. Oh, that's the wrong one. I know that. I think on this one, no, I'll put it here. I think, oh no, that's right. On this one, there is one of these guys. Oh, I guess I should put it on. It's my motto from school. If it comes with a guard, the guards stay on. Is that important? I don't know. To me, it is. I've been injured. Oh no, that's not where that goes. Okay, nope, we're good. Okay, never mind. I have been seriously injured woodworking, and I like to think it made me a better teacher. I don't know if it did or not. But I realize now, and try to realize, but it's funny how, you know, when you get in a hurry, that's what my problem is. I get in a hurry and common sense flies out the window. So having your guards on, learning to work with your guards in place is really, really, really important. Anyway, what I'm going to do today maybe that'll be the end of this video, I'm just going to quickly put this guard back on, and then we're going to run this guy a little bit. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to plug it in, and we're going to see everything working here. Okay, so let's see. If I turn you this way, then you get to see how much run out I have. I may cross back and forth a little bit, but and it's starting on its lowest speed, but it takes a little bit to wind up. Ooh, that looks really good. I hope you can see that. It looks great. I like it. Was this a good modification? Yes. I loved it. Now I have a proper guard on my CBN wheel, which the instructor for the Hub City Turners class is Trent. Trent has a tradesman grinder, and it's a state-of-the-art grinder with CBN wheels. And his has just a piece that goes around, I believe, but nothing on the side. So is this good, better? I don't know. I've been taught that spinning wheels like this, regardless of whether it's a saw blade or a grinder wheel or whatever, they need to be guarded. So this was the cheapest way, and I think I spent maybe $20. Did I spend? No, I didn't. Okay, a little bit of paint. I think I'm under $15 to do this, and that's great peace of mind for that. So anyway, I think that brings us to a close. When we come back, you might see the arrows painted white. Don't ask me why, but that way it'll look even more like it came that way. And please remember to subscribe. Most of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, and it would really help out a lot if you were. And for those of you who aren't watching or aren't subscribed yet because you think you have to supply information or subscribe to something like a subscription where you pay something, no, it's just free. All you have to do is click the button, and on a smart TV, go to my channel's homepage and click on there and subscribe. So that would really help out. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, the next video I'm not sure of. I'm not sure. I have some ideas, but nothing finalized yet. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and we will see you later on this week.